I wanted to become the first person to ever do something in the sport of swimming, and I wanted to break a world record, be an Olympic gold medalist, and also be a professional athlete. And that started from that dream as a little kid. And I knew there was some kind of plan that I had to follow to be able to achieve that. And I just reached for it. I mean, it's kind of easy as it sounds, but but the bottom line is it all started with that one little dream from childhood. As soon as I dove into the pool, that's what I wanted to do. I chose the single sport of swimming to focus on at the age of 11. I played other sports growing up, and my coach told me at 11, who I'm still with now, the coach I'm still with now, Bob Bowman, told me that I could be an Olympian in 4 years, and I was 11 years old. So it's pretty easy for me to decide that, all right, I'll trust him and see if it works. And 4 years later, it worked. The first part of my dream was able to be accomplished.
You talk a lot about having a plan, and I understand that the plan for Beijing was in place even before the 2004 Summer Games in Athens. Tell us about that.
Well, like I said, we always wanted to have something, to shoot for, and something that no one else had ever done, no one else had ever seen. And building up to the 2004 Olympics, we're swimming more events and swimming more events on the international scene, and we started really working for the end result. Probably in 2001, 2002. We started swimming more events and started to get better and better, and started working on little things that I knew would make the big difference in the long run. And whether it was me warming down more after a race, so my muscles are more relaxed and more recovered, sleeping more, eating properly. It was all those things that I started to do at a young age. So when I got to something like the 2004 Olympics, where we were attempting 8 events, and no one had ever done that before, we'd be able to be in the right mindset of being able to do everything that we practiced to help me be at my best. So we started doing it and doing it and doing it more and more and more, and had more trial runs, and I guess the perfect trial run was in 08.
And all of life, we all face failure at times. We all make mistakes. We all face obstacles. How do you deal with that?
Well, for me, at a young age, starting really from my mother, being a single mother, raising 3 kids, was very supportive of everything that we did, whether it was in the classroom, in the pool, out of the pool. She wanted us to be happy, and she would kind of let us learn from our own mistakes. If we made a mistake, then we'd be able to learn from it and change from that in the future. And that's sort of how I've learned, growing up. By no means have I been the perfect kid. By no means have I never made a mistake. I've made lots of mistakes, both in and out of the pool. And I've been able to learn from every one of those mistakes, and I've been able to, help people not make the same mistakes that I've made. It hasn't been easy going through some of the mistakes that I've made, but I think it's made me a stronger person. It made me a better person, and like I said, I'm always trying to help people never ever go through some of the things that I've gone through with the mistakes that I've made.
Bob Bowman identified you at 11 as an Olympic swimmer, well before you even knew how good you could be. What was that like? Did you feel pressure at a young age?
I think one thing about me and pressure growing up is I never let it really affect me. I was always put in certain situations in workout and swim meets where I was uncomfortable. For me, Bob would make me as tired as I can be, and then give me one of the hardest sets that I've ever done, and he would expect me to excel. So he was putting me through certain situations, both mentally and physically. And I was able to learn at a very young age that it's, you know, nothing is easy, but a lot of it has to do with your mind power and how strong you can be mentally. You know, I'll use this as an example. I'm actually in San Diego right now. We're with the national team, and we're training at the training camp, or the training facility down there. And we had a day where we went out and trained with the Navy SEALs. And I will say that is one of the toughest things mentally I've ever done. You know, for me, I'm not a fan of heights, and when I had to climb over a 45-foot, it was kind of like a rope. It was, I don't know what it's called. It's like ropes and they're crossed, and you have to climb over this 45-foot pole and then climb that back down. I'm not a fan of cold water either, and we just sit in cold water for like 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It was 55 degrees. We just had to sit there with our teammates and locked arms. You know, there's a lot of things that we did that was teamwork, that we had to use teamwork to get through, but also we had to have the mental toughness to get through. And that really showed, you know, who was mentally tough and who wasn't. And a lot of people there were able to build something, gain something out of the exercises we did. I mean, going into it, I had no idea what we were going to do. We were running on the beach, sitting in cold water, paddling in and out of the shore. I actually ended up having a little wound on my head. I got knocked off the boat and the paddle came back and hit me in the forehead, so that really didn't feel that good. But it was all teamwork, and you know, the stronger your mind is, the farther you're going to go with everything that you do. And that's something that, you know, at a very young age, I was able to learn and use in everything that I did.
Very good. You and your coach have had what many would call a love-hate relationship, but you've said that nobody else can get more out of you than Bob does. Talk about that relationship for a minute.
Bob and I have been together since I was 11 years old, and we've been through a lot. Good times, bad times. Good days on the pool deck, bad days on the pool deck. We've gotten into arguments left and right. But the bottom line is we're both passionate about what we do, and we're not going to settle for anything less than the best. You know, him and I work together every single day, and there are days when I'm swimming and I'm like, God, I can't believe he's making me do this set right now. I can't believe I have to do this. And you know, deep down inside, you know, it may not be the most comfortable thing to do, but I know that he's giving me the workouts that I need to succeed. And you know, as long as we're working together, as long as we're communicating, we're going to be successful. And that's how we've gotten to where we are today. I wouldn't swim for any other coach. That's why I went to Michigan. It's part of the reason why I moved back to Baltimore. I don't want to swim for anybody else. And I truly believe that if I did, I wouldn't be where I am today, and I wouldn't have gotten this far.
Yeah, successful coach. That's great.
Woo!
Now, I thought this was kind of interesting. Your plan does not involve many days off. The standard in swimming is 6 days on, 1 day off, but that's not your training regimen. Is it true that you did not take a day off from training in 5 years leading to